Good day, everyone, and welcome to Psoriasis Credit Cooperative Pre-Membership Education and Seminar. A lot of you are probably thinking, why would a group of psoriasis patients put up a credit cooperative? You see, persons involved in this initiative have been doing advocacy work for the past years, pushing for inclusion and awareness. However, additional challenges to the community presented itself during the pandemic, and we concluded that financial independence should be a priority. Such conclusion was not just influenced by the pandemic, but results of study on the common problems faced by every individual at present. For better understanding of the whole pre-membership education and seminar, allow me to use both English and Filipino as my medium in explaining the slides throughout the seminar. Let us go through the common problems experienced by our community. Lack of job opportunity. Quite relevant, especially this pandemic where a lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of businesses and establishments have closed down. In fact, as of November 2021, there are 3.16 million Filipinos who are already unemployed. And if we focus on people with psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis, we know a lot of horror stories where they are discriminated in the workplace because of their condition. Most are turned down with the misconception that it's contagious or nakakahawa. Inadequate income. In the Philippines, according to the most recent research done by Philippine Statistics Authority, only 3 of 20 households belong to the middle class population, with 2/3 residing in urban areas. In a more financially focused definition, the middle class is made up of those people who have the ability to choose their lifestyle because they just have enough resources to do so without compromising their basic needs. We consider the middle class the benchmark of a country's economic standing. In 2018, Filipinos need to earn 38,000 a month to be categorically considered a middle class. In 2020, the figure has changed and it went up to 43,828 a month. That's a 15% bump in a span of 2 years. But imagine if you have a big family or if you have lower income, we can really say that the struggle is real. Lack of education, knowledge, and skills. Because of limited financial resources, there is an alarming increase in the population of school dropouts or undergraduates as people have become more and more practical, opting to work instead of studying. While there are some programs being offered by different LGUs for learning new technical skills, many are still left behind. Our country's literacy rate has been dropping too. And again, if we become more specific, many of our youth SOR patients struggle with the condition for fear of rejection or discrimination, oftentimes leading to not wanting to go to school. Wrong values and beliefs. Although this is very subjective because we have different priorities and beliefs in life, our success definitely relies on what we prioritize. And our financial goals could be sidetracked for wrong beliefs and values because of the many influences around us, especially in the age of social media. Another common problem is that people are not united. Just say Philippine politics and this is clear already. The peace and order situation. With so much chaos happening around us, who can you lean on and where can you find security and peace of mind? Extremely high cost of goods and services. We are constantly burdened by the high cost of groceries, medicine, utilities, despite the fact that we are already entitled to 20% discount as persons with disabilities. Lack of capital. For the marginalized sector of our society, this is especially true. Basic needs pa lang, nahihirapan na. And as individuals, we fear engaging in a business, especially if the number one hurdle is the capitalization. How do you do business if you have no financial capacity to do so? How do we address all these problems? Meron na bang naging mga paraan? Okay, so how do we respond? There were initiatives even before to address these problems, and here are some of them. Number one, community organization or group formation. Informal and formal, and an example of informal is the bayanihan. Yes, but it's not long-term and it's not sustainable. Formal, we have civic organization, people's organizations, cooperatives. There are a lot of civic organizations, and a cooperative can also be classified as a people's organization. Number two, we respond through formal and informal education. Yes, we add value by educating ourselves. Walang dapat na limit ang ating pag-aaral. Kailangan natin ito regardless of age and status. Pero paano natin palalawakin ang ating kaalaman? Who will educate us? Organization actions. Advocating and mobilizing people for a noble and productive behavior. Productive endeavor. Napakaganda nito. And let me just share, in one of the trainings I have attended, a particular line said by the speaker caught my attention. And I quote, she said, "Coming together will drive away abusers. We respond by removing the problem of pagkakanya-kanya because we have to agree kung ano ba ang magiging desisyon natin na magiging productive para sa lahat." And that's what a cooperative does. Ngayon, alam na po natin ang iba't ibang ways ng pagtugon. Ano ba yung maaaring buuin na organisasyon na nag-educate, nag-advocate, at tutugon sa common problems ng ating society? What is cooperative? It comes from the French word coopéran, co meaning to be with or may kasama, hindi nag-iisa, and operary meaning to operate, may action na kailangan gawin. So there should be cooperation in operating. Cooperativa. What words do you see from cooperativa? So we can see some words that are highlighted like pera, iba, ko, opera, iba. To summarize, pera ko and pera ng iba ay i-opera para buong kooperatiba ay maging tiba-tiba. Ang konsepto ng kooperatiba ay hindi na po bago. Ang success nito ay makikita sa iba't ibang bansa. Sa Australia or sa Korea, kung saan halos lahat na makikita niyong stores, co-op na ang nagpapatakbo. Sa Canada, 80% of businesses are related to cooperative at sa marami pa pong bansa sa buong mundo. Okay. So ito pong PMES na ginagawa natin, pre-pandemic, it required physical attendance. But since times have changed and to ensure safety, it had been the directive of CDA to transition to online. And in our case, this is perfect because what we have applied for in terms of location is on a national level, meaning applicants from Apari to Hulo. In short, PCC or Psoriasis Credit Cooperative is the one and duly recognized cooperative related to psoriasis. So kung may magnanais magtayo ng credit co-op sa Mindanao ng mga SOR patients, they will be directed to us. Okay. So ano ba ang objective nitong PMES nito? Okay. Number one, to know the meaning of cooperative as defined by Republic Act 9520, to know the history of cooperative, to be aware of cooperative values, principles, and practices, to know the types of cooperative, to help participants gather information that will help them decide whether to join or not, to know the duties and responsibilities of members, and to understand the nature of PCC, which is a credit and savings cooperative. So isa-isa po natin itong pag-aaralan ngayon sa ating seminar. The basic concepts of cooperative. So today we will educate you on the basics of a cooperative. Republic Act 9520 which is an act amending the Cooperative Code, or what is known as the Philippine Cooperative Code of 2008, broke down what a cooperative is by definition. So ano nga ba ito? What is a cooperative? It is a duly registered association of persons with a common bond of interest who have voluntarily joined together to achieve a lawful common social or economic end, making equitable contribution to the capital required and accepting a fair share of the risks and benefits of the undertaking in accordance with the universally accepted cooperative principles. As mentioned, our governing body is CDA or Cooperative Development Authority. Na-register po ang PCC last August 23, 2021 and had its soft launch last September 8, 2021. Ang common bond po natin is psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis, and binuo po ito primarily for the community of patients suffering from psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis, their families, friends who are also advocates. So, paano nga ba nagsimula ang cooperative? Let me just share with you a video on the history of cooperative. Now that we've heard the history of a cooperative, let's now go to the principles of cooperativism. Open and voluntary membership. Ang pagsali sa co-op ay walang sapilitan. Ito po ay dapat bukal sa inyong kalooban, hindi forced, and hindi rin po requirement na member kayo ng any group, online group, like Pinoy Psoriasis or any other chapter. Separate entity po ang kooperatiba natin, and we do not ask for any endorsement from any organization. Malaya po sumali regardless of status, religion, gender preference, or political views. Democratic member control. In a co-op, all opinions are valued. Ang decision-making po sa co-op ay dinadaan sa botohan through a General Assembly. Tayo na mga members mismo ang magko-control sa proyekto na sa tingin natin ay magiging kapaki-pakinabang sa investments na gusto natin i-explore sa pamamagitan din ng General Assembly. Iboboto natin ang karapat-dapat na mga leaders na manguna sa ating kooperatiba. Member economic participation. So every member should participate, contribute to capitalization and savings, and patronize our services too. Autonomy and independence. Malaya po tayong magpapatakbo ng ating co-op. Independent po tayo, even if andyan ang CDA to oversee and guide us. We dictate the direction of our cooperative. We dictate our interest rates, who we want to deal with in business, etc. May sarili tayong pamamalakad at karapatan natin ito. As long as hindi ito labag sa bylaws, we dictate who we want to help or even yung mga beneficiaries natin. Education and training. Isa po sa isang tabi ng co-op ay ang para sa pagpapalago ng kaalaman. Since bago pa lang tayo, ang mga trainings po na ina-attenda ng mga officers ng PCC sa CDA ay nagdadagdag kaalaman. At yan naman po ang ina-apply sa PCC. Best example po ang mga training and education na hinanda noong nag-soft launch ang PCC. So we had speakers and experts for capacity building. But soon, we will have partnerships with different orgs who can conduct trainings for all members, pwedeng livelihood and skills, basic accounting, and depende na rin sa demand ng majority. Pwede rin po tayo magpa-certify sa TESDA at iba pa pong mga training na gugustuhin natin. Cooperation among cooperatives. So as a micro-co-op, pwede po tayo makipartner sa mga seasoned or mga macro co-ops like multipurpose co-ops para makita natin ang practices nila which can guide us also. We need to actively participate because they are huge help in strengthening our systems. Meron mga programs ang CDA na Big Brother where we sign a memorandum with macro co-ops and they can extend help, pwedeng financial, pwedeng technical skills sa mga department na mahina tayo or hindi pa natin na-develop. Concern for the community. Ikaw ba ay concerned sa kapwa mo? Ang co-op po ay service-driven. It is a basic act of humanity to help those in need. Naniniwala po kami na we make ourselves bigger and better by helping others. We rise when we help others rise. Ito rin po ay parte na magiging audit ng CDA. We need to present to them that 10% of our net surplus is allocated to community development. So kung gusto niyo lang pong kumita at hindi makatulong sa iba, ang co-op po ay masasabing hindi para sa inyo. And baka nasa isip din ng iba na tinuyo ang co-op na ito para negosyoin lang or magpayaman sa pera ng iba, which is not true. Because if that's the case, we could have put up a corporation. Pero malaki po talaga ang pagkakaiba ng corporation at co-op. And malaki din ang pagkakaiba ng bangko at co-op. And to summarize, ito po ang mga pagkakaiba nila. Comparison between corporation and a cooperative. Okay, a corporation has 5 persons at least required to form, while a cooperative has 15 persons. They must be registered with SEC, while we are registered with CDA. So pareho rin po, may articles of incorporation and may bylaws. But with the co-op, we have an economic survey, bonds, and treasurer's affidavit. Capitalization, stockholders pay for the share, while members contribute not more than 10% po sa isang cooperative. Later on, we will talk about the savings na ito or sa capitalization na ito. There's a board of directors for both. However, sa cooperative po, the decision-making falls to the General Assembly. Voting rights, vote is proportionate to capital with proxy voting po sa corporation, while in a cooperative, 1 member and 1 vote with no proxy voting. Okay, we are not taxable. That's one thing that's good. And also, we are service above profit. Unlike sa corporation, profit motivated po sila. Okay, so for example, when a member pass away in a corporation, the heirs can inherit the shares. Ganyan din po sa cooperative as long as he is qualified. In short, medyo mahigpit po tayo dito sa cooperative. Ngayon po ay meron akong gustong pakilala sa inyo na magpapakilala pa or magpapalawak pa ng inyong pagkakakilala sa PCC o sa Psoriasis Credit Cooperative. As mentioned by Soraya, the core values of PCC are unity, reliability, honesty and integrity, equity, accountability, respect in diversity, and dignity. So lagi po tayong dapat naka-align sa core values na ito. Lagi nating tatandaan na you are heard dito sa PCC. Now, what are the types of cooperative? We have the credit cooperative, which promotes thrift and savings amongst its members and creates funds in order to grant loans for productivity. We have the consumer cooperative, and the primary purpose of this type is to procure and distribute commodities to member and non-members. A producer's cooperative, this type undertakes joint production, whether agricultural or industrial. Service cooperative, this type engages in medical, dental, transportation, housing, labor, electricity, communication, and more. So an example po ay sa mga provinces na walang electricity provided ng Meralco. They have their own power supply run by an electric cooperative. Multipurpose cooperative combines two or more of the business activities of these different types of cooperatives. So this is actually a goal for PCC. If you are able to comply with the requirements of CDA during audit process, and they see that we are able to manage the co-op well for 2 years, then we can apply for a multi-purpose co-op. Pwede po tayong mag-venture into services like transportation, grab food deliveries, or we can produce our own VCO, and many others. And we think that is doable and it is possible. Now, let us hear from one of the directors of PCC on why he is a believer of a cooperative. Okay, so now we go to the most exciting part of the seminar, and that is discussion on the membership. So dito sa PCC, we have the what you call the regular and associate member. Regular and the requirements are you should be of legal age and clinically diagnosed with psoriasis. You must have attended the pre-membership seminar and have paid the initial deposit of 1,000 pesos. And for an associate, you should also be of legal age, an immediate family member, a volunteer, or an advocate of the regular member. Must have attended the pre-membership seminar and have paid the initial deposit of 1,000 pesos. The initial deposit of 1,000 pesos can be broken down into the capital share, savings deposit, and membership fee. So the capital share, 500 pesos of your 1,000 goes to the capital share, 300 goes to your savings deposit, and 200 for the membership fee. This is a one-time membership fee only. So understanding the credit and savings cooperative. So na-introduce na namin sa inyo yung regular and associate membership. So these are the terms that we will be discussing. So it's best that we define them. Number one, the share capital or saping puhunan. This is the individual member's commitment to the cooperative form of business. This also identifies the individual's financial stake. The par value of the share capital should not be less than 100 but not exceed 1,000. And this is one source of capitalization consisting of common and preferred shares. So common shares for regular members or the patient members, and the preferred share are for the associate members or the family and advocates. The PCC share capital has a par value of 100. As mentioned earlier, it cannot be lower than 100 and cannot be higher than 1,000. So for our cooperative, it is only 100. Regular membership. Okay. A regular member should subscribe to at least 260 shares. A regular member should have a paid-up capital of at least 25% to enjoy the privileges and avail of the services. Okay. An associate member should subscribe to at least 50 shares. An associate member should have a paid-up capital of at least 25%, same as the regular member, to enjoy the privileges and avail of the services. It is prohibited to issue multiple types of common shares with different par value. So again, yung 100 natin will remain 100. Hindi natin siya pwedeng itaas pa. As said here, it is likewise prohibited to increase or decrease the par value by way of amendment. No member shall hold more than 10% of the share capital of the co-op. Okay, so ito po yung mga terms na maririnig natin sa discussion. Authorized share, ito po yung pangarap na puhunan. Subscribe share, yung pinapangako ng bawat miyembro na puhunan. Paid up capital share or nailaan, sabi natin kanina, it should be 25%. It is a requirement to be considered an active member. It is also a requirement na nakabayad ka ng 25% for you to be able to enjoy the services of the co-op. And capital build-up is the remaining 75% na binubuo mo pa. So for the regular member, as mentioned earlier, the subscribed share should be 260. Par value is 100, so that's a total amount of 26,000. Okay, so the capital share cannot be withdrawn anytime. If for some reason you need to withdraw it, it would also mean the termination of your membership. So wag kayong mag-worry or mag-alala because 26,000 is not a one-time payment. So kanina, sabi natin, the initial deposit is 1,000. Upon enrollment, 500 of that 1,000 goes to your capital share. So sabi dito, the minimum amount for you to be an active member is 25%. So the minimum paid up capital na 25% is 6,000. Which can be broken down in installments for 1 year. So that's 500 a month or 125 pesos a week. So for 1 year, bubuin mo yung 25% mo na 6,000 para ma-qualify ka na as active member and para maka-avail ka din ng services like loaning. Sa capital build-up, which is the 75%, that's approximately or that's 19,500, which you can pay in installment for 2 years. So in 2 years, that's 812 pesos a month or 204 pesos weekly. We think that this is a very justifiable amount because we also pay for like our luho, mga pa-load natin dyan or pa-Starbucks natin dyan. Why not put it to your capital share, kumikita na ang pera mo, nakakaipon ka pa. Now, for the associate member or family and friends or advocates, ang subscribe share natin ay 50 only. Par value is 100, so that's a total amount of 5,000. Again, as mentioned, yung initial deposit na 1,000, upon enrollment, 500 goes to your capital share. Yung paid up capital mo na 25% for you to be considered active, it's only 750. Okay, so hindi na natin siya extend to 1 year like patients because hindi naman to ganun kalaking halaga na 6,000. It's just 750. And yung capital build-up mo, which is the 75% or 3,750, can be in installment payments for a year, which is 312.50 pesos a month or 80 pesos weekly. The maximum share capital is only 10% of the total subscribed share capital of the cooperative. So for example po, nung binuo po namin ang PCC, yung 15 po na cooperators para mabuo ito, pinag-isipan namin na gusto namin na ang pinangarap namin is 1 million. So kung 10%, sabihin na natin na what is the 10% of 1 million? That's 100,000. So kahit na meron isa sa amin na gustong maglagay ng malaking halaga, hindi po ito pinapayagan dahil may ceiling lang po ito na 10% which is 100,000. But it doesn't mean na lahat puro ganyan, 100. Pwede pong mas mababa. Ito naman po, ang sinasabi lang natin is yung ceiling na pwedeng ilagay na share capital. So from as a patient, that's 26,000. broken down in 3 years, in installment payments, and the maximum is 100K. Now, meron po tayong capital share na ni-discuss kanina, and meron naman po tayong tinatawag na savings or ang ating ipon. So, capital share and savings are two different things that could contribute greatly to the success of the co-op. So, upon enrollment for membership, 300 is placed on your savings account. It is highly advised to deposit on your savings account and target the amount of 5,000. So your money can also earn on interest. Okay? So yung interest po nito is ongoing pa po ang pag-uusap namin dito sa board. And we will be updating everyone should you decide to become a member in our General Assembly. Money placed on savings account is withdrawable anytime. Besides the capital share and savings that we contribute to the PCC or to our cooperative, what other means or sources can we consider to grow our cooperative? So we can have other sources of funds to grow our business, like proceeds of sales. Halimbawa po, merong nag-loan and was not able to pay the loan. So we have collateral assets or acquired assets. We can also earn from interest from other banks, earnings of other funds and deposits, project subsidies, because as a co-op, we also have projects. We can also get donations, grants from local and foreign bodies, and of course, from the interest on the loans and fines and penalties. So after we have collected sources of funds, CDA or the Cooperative Development Authority has a formula on how we are going to handle our net surplus. Allocation of net surplus, as discussed in Article 85, 50% for the General Reserve Fund for the first 5 years, or at least 10% on 6th year and thereafter. Not more than 10% for Co-op Education and Training Fund, where 1/2 shall be spent by co-op for education and training, while the other half may be remitted to a union or federation. General Reserve Fund is to be used for stability of the cooperative and to meet net losses in its operation. So not less than 3% for Community Development Fund. So dito po, we will also elect who our beneficiaries will be for the Community Development Fund through our General Assembly. Not more than 7% for optional fund or land and building or any other fund which the co-op identified in its bylaws. Remaining portion of the net surplus to be made available to members in the form of interest on capital and patronage refund. So how do I grow my money in the cooperative? So we have dividends, patronage refund, and interest and savings. Dividends is proportionate to the paid-up capital share of members. So if you want to earn more for yourself, you have to consistently strive to increase the amount of your capital share up until you reach the 10% maximum of the total subscribed share of the cooperative. So if, for example, you have, at first, nag-subscribe ka lang ng 26,000. Okay, so yun na yung pinaka-minimum natin as a regular member. And na-realize mo na, gusto ko pa siyang taasan because mas malaking hulog, mas malaking capital share, at the end of the year, mas malaki ang dividends ko na makukuha. So there. So it will encourage members to put more money in the co-op because they know that the more they put in their capital share, the more dividends, the higher dividends they will get. Number 2, patronage refund. This is like a rebate. This encourages members to participate, patronize the services. Halimbawa po, gusto mong umutang nag-offer sa'yo isa sa mga kaibigan mo with no interest versus our co-op. You have to keep in mind that you need to protect the business of cooperative if you are a member because you're the owner. And if you choose to borrow from your friend, the co-op will not benefit and namamatay business mo. The patients will not benefit also. So your chance to contribute to the community is no longer possible. Okay? So unlike sa mga ibang cases na nakakahiya, ikinahihiya po natin ang mag-loan or humiram ng pera, dito po sa co-op, we highly encourage you because when you loan, tumataas po yung pag-patronize nyo ng ating services. Nagkakaroon po kayo ng higher patronage refund. So yun po yun. Lastly, interest on savings. Yes, eventually po, meron tayong makukuha na interest dito. Ang kagandahan ng talaga sa co-op, it's not taxable. And this is why a lot of people who see the value of a cooperative put their savings here. Wala tayong VAT at kung ano-ano pang tax dyan. Unlike po sa capital share, wala pong ceiling ang ating savings. So you can put more here and it's also withdrawable anytime. Okay. So since we are credit cooperative, syempre po, ang service po natin ay lending. So what are the types of loans? So we have medical. Medical will cover hospitalization, diagnostics, medicine, treatment, and others. Personal, you can cover utilities, mga bills po ninyo yan, your travel, your home improvement, etc. Educational, for training, seminars, tuition, miscellaneous, and anything na related po sa pagpapalago ng inyong kaalaman. Business loans also. Okay, so na-mention dito sa personal, no, for travel, pwede rin mag-issue ang ating cooperative ng certificate comparable to a bank certificate should you need it for travel purposes. Okay. So all these types of loan and even the requirements will be discussed further po kapag nag-join na po kayo as a member because we also have training programs for members para po sa mas malawak na usapin na about the finances. Now, what are the duties and responsibilities of members? Okay. So we pay the installment of our capital share subscription because once you express kung ano yung halaga na gusto nyong i-subscribe, andun din po yung commitment and responsibility. So you have to pay the installment as it falls due and participate in the capital build-up and savings mobilization activities of the cooperative. Should patronize the cooperative's businesses and services. So hindi po pwedeng hulog lang tayo ng hulog ng pera. So we should also use the service of lending or loaning. Okay, again, the more the members ang humihiram, the more na tumataas ang interest na nakukuha ng co-op na pinaghahati-hatian din naman natin as members. So, kumikita ka kapag umuutang yung kapwa mo member. Okay, number 3, participate in the membership educational programs. Number 4, attend and participate in the deliberation of programs during the General Assembly. So, importante po ito, ang General Assembly. Observe and obey all lawful orders, decisions, rules, and regulations adopted by the Board of Directors and General Assembly. So yan po ang ating mga responsibilidad. Ano naman ang ating mga karapatan or rights and privileges of members? So we have the right to attend General Assembly meetings. We have the right to avail for ourselves the services to cooperative, subject to certain conditions as may be prescribed by the Board of Directors. We have the right to inspect and examine the books of accounts, audited financial statements, the minutes books, shares register, and other records of the cooperative during office hours. So we value accountability, we value transparency, And of course, as a member and as a business owner, as part of the owners of the co-op, you have all the right to assess, examine, and inspect all the finances, all the books, and lahat po ng mga records. Number 4, secure copies of cooperative records, documents pertaining to the account information of the concerned member. Participate in the continuing education and training programs of the cooperative, and such other rights and privileges as may be granted during the General Assembly. Who are the regular members entitled to vote? Okay, ito clear, regular members entitled to vote. So ito po, patient po ang pinag-uusapan natin na regular members. The patient or the regular member must have paid the membership fee and the value of minimum shares required for membership. He is not delinquent in the payment of her capital subscription and other obligations, has completed the continuing education program prescribed by the Board of Directors, has participated in the affairs of the cooperative and patronized its business, and the failure of the member to meet any of the above conditions shall mean suspension of the right to vote until the same have been lifted upon by the determination of the Board of Directors. Participate and vote on all matters deliberated upon by the Board of Directors. So, hindi lang po tayo silent partners dito. Your voice must be heard. We value po all matters kasi lahat po tayo ay merong magandang intensyon dapat para sa co-op. So kung may naiisip tayo na mas ikagaganda pa or mas ikabubuti nagpapatakbo nito, you should participate and vote on it. Number 7, you have the right to seek any elective or appointive position. If you feel that you are qualified and you have the leadership skills, then go ahead and seek for that position. And such other rights and privileges as may be provided by the General Assembly. Now, what is a basic organizational structure of co-op? Okay. Kanina natin minimension yung General Assembly. The General Assembly is the highest policy-making body of the cooperative and is the final authority in the management and administration of the affairs of the cooperative. It is not the chairman nor the board of directors who we consider as the one in power. The one in power po, General Assembly po yan. Lahat po ng miyembro ang highest policy-making body of the cooperative. It is composed of members who are entitled to vote, duly assembled, and constituting a quorum. So it is already considered a quorum if attendance is 25% of all members entitled to vote. The general meeting of the General Assembly is held once a year. And then for the newly registered cooperatives, a general meeting is called 90 days after date of registration. So in our case po, since we are a newly registered cooperative, nagkaroon na po tayo ng pagpapasa ng general meeting 90 days after the date of registration. Ngayon, what are the powers of the General Assembly? So we can determine and we can approve amendments of the articles of the corporation and the bylaws. We can elect and appoint members of the board of directors and remove them for a cause. We can approve developmental plans of the cooperative, including budget and projects. So we have the board of directors. They formulate the policies, direct, supervises, and manages the business of the cooperative. It is composed of 5 to 15 members elected by the General Assembly. They must hold monthly meetings, and a special meeting can be called anytime by the chairman. So as of date, we have 7 members or directors, and mga interim lang po yan because bago pa lang po ang ating kooperatiba. The board of directors elect among themselves the chairman and the vice chairwoman, Then they elect or appoint the other officers needed by the cooperative. We also have a treasurer and a secretary who are not part of the board of directors. So we also have elective committees and appointive committees. So we elect who will be in our audit committees, in our election committees, and we can appoint members to facilitate or to head our ethics committee, conciliation mediation, gender development committee, education and training, and the credit committee. So ito po ang bumubuo ng PCC sa ngayon. We have the board of directors. We have Rafael Suarez as our chairman and Rosel Laput as our vice chairperson, who is also the head for education and learning. Sir Daniel Medina, a director na nakita nyo kanina sa kanyang video. We have Ms. Valerie Vinluan, Michelle Wanson. We have Sir Geoffrey Reyes and Christopher Paginto, and the 7 of them comprise the board of directors of PCC. For our general manager, we have Jonathan Pe. For our secretary, Mr. Professor Manuel de la Cruz. And our treasurer is Ms. Maricel N. Bacani. And for our other cooperators, we have Jan Pauline Gamuyao. We have Maria Gemma Belhica, Camille Segovia, Samuel Abichuela, Engineer Samuel Abichuela. We have Rocky Mendones and Rolando Rapiado Jr. Okay, now we go to the benefits of being members of cooperative. Economic benefits. Members develop the habit of thrift and wise use of money. Members avail of loans at reasonable rate of interest for productive and provident purposes, thus increasing the members' income. The social benefits. Members develop awareness in solving common problems or needs among themselves. Members develop the feeling of belongingness, love, and concern for fellow men. And it inculcates unified participation in community affairs. So, marami pong benepisyo ang pagsali sa ating kooperatiba. Hindi lamang nito iinaangat ang antas ng inyong pamumuhay sa pamamagitan ng pag-iipon, pamamagitan ng mutual cooperation, kasama ng iba mang miyembro, pero ito rin ay napakalaki na nabibigay nitong social benefit sa atin, especially po sa dami ng mga problema nating kinakaharap and challenges, maski nitong pandemya at hindi man, at sa mga iba pa po mga kalaki nitong ating sakit, no? Marami nga tayong mga tinatawag na comorbidities. But it is also healthy for our mental well-being because we develop a sense of family, a sense of belongingness, and love and concern for our fellow men. In short, we become passionate, we become mindful of others. Nagkakaroon po tayo ng meaning sa ating habang ginagawa natin, habang nakikita natin lumalaki yung co-op, habang lumalaki yung ating komunidad. And before I close today's pre-membership education and seminar, I just want to share a simple anecdote, no? It's just a short story lang, ano? Kasi when we were just starting, we shared our personal reasons why we wanted to build a co-op. Truth be told, hindi naman po lahat ng 15 cooperators na nagbuo nito ay magkakakilala from the start. And we shared our personal reasons why we wanted to build this cooperative. And we imagined ourselves as farmers. Now, I also want you to think of your own reason why you want to have a secure future. And imagine yourself as a farmer too, like what we did. Together, let's imagine that we were blessed with the land and in our pockets we have seeds for planting. Ito yung stage natin ngayon sa ating kooperatiba, sa ating PCC, na nagtatanim pa lang tayo ng ating seed. It needs constant watering, it needs sunlight, proper care, and tending. Hanggang sa lumaki, hanggang sa makita natin siyang umusbong, and one day we just wake up and be amazed na namumunga na ng apples yung dati nating tinanim na seed, ngayon na naging puno na. Just imagine how many people will be blessed with all those apples. Diba? If you have that, you have the tree full of apples, kanino ka ba mag-share? Think about it. Who are you going to feed? Who are you going to help? And we are just talking about one tree here. What if each of us plant one seed dito sa co-op and we can create an apple plantation? How amazing is that, right? And because we have an abundance, we get to share even to those outside of our plantation. And I strongly encourage you to think about your purpose because this is a long-term commitment. While it may sound intimidating, yung phrase na long-term commitment, it really is reassuring to know na hindi ka mag-iisa dito or hindi ka nangangapa dito. We are laying out the foundation for a good and better future and sana makasama namin kayo. So naka-align kayo sa culture and we cheer each other and support the whys of each other. So we become each other's source of hope. Okay, so here in our co-op, in Psoriasis Credit Cooperative, members are not in competition with anyone. We're all equal here, just as we all are in God's eyes. And we are not in competition with any other org. We could focus on the inside and avoid all the negativity outside. We protect our co-op at all costs, and we value the transparency. So we expect members to curse any of their concerns through proper channels. There is a due process for everything, and we believe that communication is the key. So that ends our pre-membership education and seminar, and I hope you all learned something today. Okay, so how to sign up? Since you are listening to this recorded PMES, please give your email address to the one who invited you so we can give you your certificate, which is also a requirement for your membership. And we will be giving you a sign-up form or application form, and then we will be contacting you for other requirements. So thank you very, very, very much. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. Our Facebook page is Psoriasis Credit Cooperative, and our email address is info@pcc.com.